Welcome to Tungal Online Classes. Today we are going to discuss about the topic of solenoid. Today we are going to discuss about which topic? Solenoid. So how can we define the term solenoid? How can we define the term solenoid? So the solenoid is consisting of a long cylindrical rod, over the long cylindrical rod a wire is wounded, a current carrying wire is wounded into so many number of turns. Such a type of arrangement we are calling as solenoid. Once again, see the definition of the solenoid. How can we define the term solenoid? So here the solenoid is consisting of a long cylindrical rod, over the long cylindrical rod a conducting wire which is carrying a current of I, is wounded into so many number of turns. Such a type of arrangement we are calling as solenoid. So this is the definition of the solenoid. And one more point we have to remember in the case of the solenoid is, here we assumed that a conducting wire which is carrying a current of I, which was wounded into the so many number of turns. While you are choosing the conducting wire, the outer surface of the conducting wire must be insulated. That means whenever you are forming the so many number of loops, we have to take the precaution. These loops should not be in contact. These circular loops should not be in physical contact. For that purpose, what we assumed here, whatever the conducting wire we assumed, which is carrying a current of small I, is coated with the insulating material. This is a precaution we have to consider while you are going to discuss about the concept of solenoid. Like that, the conducting wire should be wounded into so many number of turns and the conducting wire should be insulated. Such a type of arrangement we are calling as solenoid. Solenoid. Now, what is our aim here? So what is the purpose of considering the solenoid here means, we have to calculate the resultant magnetic field intensity, which is produced by the given solenoid. So here we are saying that we are going to calculate resultant magnetic field intensity. When you will use the term resultant magnetic field intensity? Whenever there are so many number of magnetic fields, more than 2 magnetic fields. So multiple number of magnetic fields are acting at a given point simultaneously. You have to calculate the resultant magnetic field intensity. Here, how the different magnetic fields are produced in the given case of the solenoid means, while you are wounding the conducting wire into so many number of turns, each and every turn will be acting as a individual circular current carrying coil. Once again, so here you are going to calculate the resultant magnetic field means, here automatically so many number of magnetic fields are there. How the multiple number of magnetic fields are existing? Here, while you are wounding the current carrying wire into so many number of turns. See here, already we are saying that we are going to calculate what? Resultant magnetic field intensity. So when the resultant magnetic field intensity will be existing means, whenever multiple magnetic fields are acting in that region simultaneously, multiple magnetic fields are acting in that region simultaneously, at that time only we have to calculate the resultant magnetic field, resultant magnetic field. So here generally one doubt will be arises, what are the sources of multiple magnetic fields? Means here each loop will be acting as one circular current carrying conductor. Each and every loop will be acting as how? Each and every loop will be acting as a individual circular current carrying conducting loop. So that if you take the first turn will be acting as an individual circular current carrying loop, so that it is producing its own magnetic field intensity, as well as the second loop is also producing its own magnetic field intensity. Like that, if you consider n number of loops, the n number of loops are also producing the n individual magnetic fields, at that time. To calculate the resultant magnetic field intensity, we have to follow the principle of superposition method for getting the resultant magnetic field induction. So here what concept we have to understood means, while the wire was wounded into so many number of turns, each loop will be producing its own magnetic field. And here also we have to understood in which direction that magnetic fields are acting. Before going to calculating the direction of the magnetic field which is produced by each and every loop, first we have to consider the directions of the current, at each and every loop, at outer surface as well as the inner surface. This point is very, very important. So what we have to know, the directions of the current which are passing through each and every loop at the outer surface as well as the inner surface. So if you assume that this is a longer cylindrical rod, over this you are winding the current carrying conducting wire into so many number of loops. If you see here, the current will be coming inwards like this. So the current will be what? Coming in the anti-clockwise direction. So at the top end, at the outer surface, the direction of the current will be coming out of the plane of the paper. If you see here the direction of the current will be like this. That means the direction of the current will be in the anti-clockwise direction. At the top surface, at the outer surface, the direction of the current will be coming out of the plane of the paper. This point we have to understood. At the top surface, the direction of current is what? Coming out of the plane of the paper. Whereas whenever you consider at the bottom, the direction of the current will be acting into the plane of the paper. This point we have to understood. Once again, for each and every loop, at the outer surface of the solenoid, the direction of the current will be coming out of the plane of the paper, whereas at the bottom of the solenoid, the direction of the current will be acting into the plane of the paper. Now, so the directions of the current I am representing here. So this is at outer surface, this is at inner surface. Outer surface and inner surface. So here I consider some number of loops. I consider 3 different loops. So many number of loops are there, but for explaining more easily, I consider only 3 different loops. For the first loop also current will be coming out of the plane of the paper. For the second loop also current will be what? Coming out of the plane of the paper. For the third loop is also the direction of the current is coming out of the plane of the paper. When you consider the outer surface of the solenoid, outer surface, top surface of the solenoid, at the bottom surface of the solenoid, the directions of the currents are acting into the plane of the paper, and so here the direction of the current will be in this direction. The direction of the current will be what? In this direction, so that the direction of the current for that given loop I indicated like this. I indicated what? Like this. So if this current will be in this direction, and here the direction of the current will be like this. Now I want to discuss more precisely at the outer surface, at the top surface of the solenoid. So here the dot is indicating what? Current will be coming out of the plane of the paper. When you put dot in this moving charges on a magnetism, so what notation we have to understood? That direction will be coming out of the plane of the paper, So whenever you consider the direction will be coming out of the plane of the paper, the magnetic field lines will be existed. The magnetic field lines will be existed in which direction? Anti-clockwise direction. So field will be what? Acting vertically upward direction. So current will be acting vertically upward direction. The lines of force will be exist in which direction? Anti-clockwise direction. Similarly, for the second loop, so here also current will be what? Coming outwards. So the direction of the magnetic field lines, will be existing in which direction? Anti-clockwise direction. Now you observe clearly here. So this is the direction of the magnetic field lines. So the direction of the magnetic field lines will be in the anti-clockwise direction, means whenever they coming to this region, the direction of the magnetic field lines, which are formed by the adjacent loops at the top surface as well as at the bottom surface will be existed in opposite direction, Once again see. So here what we told here, when you consider the solenoid, at the top surface, at the upper surface of the solenoid, the direction of the current which is flowing in the particular loop, will be coming out of the plane of the paper. So I consider three different loops. I consider how many loops? Three different loops. So whenever the current will be coming out of the plane of the paper, around that loop magnetic field will be existed. So if a current will be coming out of the plane of the paper, so according to the right hand thumb rule, the magnetic field lines will be existed. In the anti-clockwise direction. So here I consider two adjacent loops. So for this first loop, in this region, the direction of the lines of force will be here, and for the second loop, the direction of the field lines will be existing in the anti-clockwise direction only. But when you look at this region, so in this region, the direction of the lines of forces for the neighboring loops will be existed in the opposite direction, hence the magnetic field will be cancelled out. In this region. Why the magnetic field will be cancelled out? At this point, if you draw the tangent, that will be giving the magnetic field intensity. that will be giving the magnetic field intensity at the adjacent loop. So if you draw one more tangent, the direction of the magnetic field will be acting in the opposite direction of the first loop, so that they will be having the same magnitude of the magnetic field intensity. Why? All the loops are identical loops. All the loops are identical loops. Identical loop means their radius will be same, current is also same, so that each and every loop will be producing the same amount of magnetic field intensity. Here in the neighboring loops, they will be having the same amount of magnetic field intensities, but they will be acting in the opposite direction. They will be acting in the opposite direction because of this reason. Because of this reason, at the outer surface, the magnetic field intensities of the neighboring loops will be cancelled out. This point we have to understood. So this is the explanation why at the outer surface, at the bottom surface of the solenoid, the magnetic field does not be existing, means this is the reason. The magnetic field which is formed by the adjacent loops will be getting cancelled together. That's why the magnetic field intensity around the solenoid will be is equal to 0. The magnetic field intensity around the solenoid will be is equal to 0. Then where the magnetic field will be existed? So if you look at the first loop, so the current will be flowing in this direction. So the thumb is representing the direction of the magnetic field. Already we discussed magnetic field intensity at the axial point due to the circular current carrying loop. The direction of the magnetic field intensity due to the circular current carrying loop will always to be acting along the axial line. That means in the case of the solenoid, for each and every circular turn, the direction of the magnetic field must be acting along its axial line only. If you consider the entire solenoid, the direction of the magnetic field will be acting along the axis of the given solenoid. The reason is that for one loop, the direction of the magnetic field will be acting along the axial line. For the second loop also, magnetic field will be acting along the same direction. For the third loop also, the direction of the magnetic field will be acting along the axial line. Here, each and every magnetic field intensity magnitude will be remain same, and all those are acting along the same direction, means simply we have to add their magnitudes together. So this is the reason why the magnetic field will be existing inside the solenoid, means the magnetic field will be existing where? Inside the solenoid only. Outside the solenoid, either at the top surface or at the bottom surface, the magnetic field intensity value will be is equal to 0. Why intensity is equal to 0 means this is the reason. If you consider the magnetic field lines of the neighboring loops, the adjacent magnetic field intensities will be acting in opposite direction. That's why they will be cancelled out, so that there was no magnetic field will be existing at the outer surface as well as at the bottom surface. The magnetic field will be existing only along the axis of the given solenoid. This is the reason behind that. Now we are going to calculate the magnetic field intensity derivation for the solenoid. We are going to derive the expression for magnetic field intensity due to the solenoid. Up to now what we discuss about what is the solenoid, how the magnetic field will be existing inside the solenoid, how the magnetic field will be cancelled out at the top surface as well as the bottom surface of the solenoid. What is the reason behind only the magnetic field will be existing inside the solenoid? These are concepts we discussed earlier. Now, we are going to derive the expression for magnetic field intensity due to the solenoid. To derive the expression for magnetic field intensity due to the solenoid, we are using the rule Ampere's circuital law. Ampere's circuital law. What is the Ampere's circuital law equation and what is its definition? The line integral of the magnetic field, around a given closed path, will be is equal to mu naught times the total current passing through the given circular loop or given closed loop. And one more point also we told in the case of the Ampere circuital law, the Ampere circuital law can be applicable for any shaped closed loop, not only the circular closed loop, any shaped closed loop, whether it is a circular closed loop, rectangle, circle, triangle and square, whatever the closed loop, whatever the shape you consider, for any one of the closed loop, we have to apply the Ampere circuital law. So what is the formula of Ampere circuital law? Is line integral of b bar dot dl bar is equal to what? Mu naught into I net. First we will define the value of right side term. So mu naught is the permeability of the given medium, that is a constant value. And what is the meaning of I net? In the last class, while we are discussing the derivation of Ampere circuital law, we told that I net is giving the total amount of the current which is passing through the given closed loop. Here I am assuming that the solenoid is consisting of capital N number of turns. Solenoid will be consisting of how many number of turns? I assumed capital N number of turns. And the current value through each turn is what we assume here, small I we assume. Here the solenoid is consisting of so many number of loops. We told that so many number of loops will be assuming as capital N number of turns, and moreover we assumed that the current passing through the each turn is equal to what? I. Therefore from this we will define the value of I net. I net value is equal to what? I net value is equal to total current passing through the given closed loop. Total current passing through the given closed loop is equal to capital N into I. Let it be equation number 1, and this value is equal to what? Equation number 2. Once again, what is the Ampere circuital law formula? Line integral of b bar dot dl bar is equal to mu naught into I net. Here, to find the resultant magnetic field intensity value, first I have to calculate the right side term value. Mu naught is a constant value. I net is indicating the net current passing through the given closed loop. I am assuming that the solenoid is consisting of a capital N number of turns, and through each and every turn I amount of current will be flowing, so that the total current passing through the given solenoid is equal to what? N into I. So I calculate the right side term value. Now I want to calculate line integral of b bar dot dl value. So line integral of b bar dot dl value means we have to calculate the for entire closed loop. Now coming to here, so the closed loop will be assumed in the form of a rectangle. I am assuming that the length of the rectangle is equal to small l. Length of the rectangle is equal to what? Small l. And the breadth of the rectangle is equal to small b. Now First, I will consider the PQ part of the given closed loop. So, I want to calculate a line integral of B bar dot DL value for each and every part. For each and every part. First, I consider which part? PQ part. For the PQ part, B bar will be always acting along the axis of the solenoid, always along the axis of solenoid. So, B bar direction does not changes, and for the PQ portion, DL bar is also acting along the B bar. DL bar is also acting at what? Along the B bar. So, for the PQ portion, B bar comma DL bar will be acting along the same direction. If a B bar comma DL bar will be acting along the same direction, means angle between the B bar comma DL bar is equal to what? 0. Angle between the B bar comma DL bar is equal to what? 0. Now, I will calculate the line integral of B bar dot DL bar for the PQ portion only. So, this value is equal to B bar. So, line integral of B bar dot DL bar is equal to what? BDL cos 0. BDL cos 0. So, B will be constant, integral DL. So, DL is indicating what? Length of the small element. Integral DL is giving length of the PQ portion. Therefore, this value is equal to BL. That value is equal to what? BL. So, line integral of B bar dot DL bar for the PQ portion is equal to what I got? B into L. Now, coming to the QR portion. So, we have to calculate line integral of B bar dot DL bar for PQ, QR and RS and SP. Each and every part we have to calculate separately. So, for Q2R portion we consider. For a Q2R portion, see here, B bar will be acting in this direction. And DL bar, the length of the QR is perpendicular to the direction of the B bar. The length of the QR bar is perpendicular to what? B bar. So, the angle between B bar comma DL bar, will be is equal to 90 degrees. Therefore, line integral of B bar dot DL bar for a QR portion is equal to, so here B into integral DL cos 90. Cos 90 value is equal to 0. So, the second term value is equal to what? 0. Second term, line integral of B bar dot DL bar for the QR portion is equal to what? 0. Next portion is the what? RS. See, this RS portion will be present where? That RS portion will be present where? Whether it is present inside the solenoid or outside the solenoid. If you look at the diagram clearly, this is the outer region of the solenoid. In the outer region of the solenoid, already we discussed the magnetic field intensity is equal to 0. Over the outer surface of the solenoid, the magnetic field intensity value is equal to what? 0. So that the line integral of B bar dot DL bar is equal to, so B value will be 0 dot DL bar. So, this value also is equal to 0. Why that value is equal to 0? There is no magnetic field will be existing. At the outer region of the solenoid. Hence, its line integral value will be directly is equal to what? 0. Next, for the portion of SP. For the portion of what? SP. See here, for the SP, magnetic field will be acting in this direction. Magnetic field will be acting along the horizontal direction, and DL bar will be again acting perpendicular to the B bar. DL bar will be acting perpendicular to the B bar. So here also theta value is equal to 90 degrees. Theta value is equal to what? 90 degrees. Similar to the QR portion, the line integral of B bar dot DL bar for S to P portion also is equal to what? 0. For SP portion also is equal to what? 0. Once again, so here the right side term value you calculated. For getting the left side values, line integral of B bar dot DL bar, value will be calculated for each and every portion, that is for PQ, QR, RS and SP. Now, we substitute all these values in the equation number 1. If you substitute all these values in the equation number 1, first line integral of B bar dot DL bar value for PQ portion I am writing. For the PQ portion, that value is equal to what? BL for a PQ portion plus QR portion plus RS portion plus SP portion. So for the PQ portion, the line integral value is equal to what? B into L. For QR portion, that value is equal to 0 plus RS portion is 0 and SP portion also is equal to what? 0. So this is the line integral of B bar dot DL bar value for the entire closed loop. Coming to the right side portion, mu naught value will be constant. From the equation number 2, I net value is equal to N into I. I net value is equal to what? N into I. So mu naught into N into I. So if you simplify this value, B into L is equal to mu naught capital N I. So I will write B, I need the value of B, mu naught into capital N by L into I. Equation number 3. So here, what is the capital N? Capital N is indicating the total number of turns. Capital N is indicating what? Total number of turns. And the small l is indicating the length of the solenoid. So here we are going to define one more term that is nothing but small n. Small n is indicating the number of turns present in the solenoid per unit length. So what is the small n is indicating? Small n is indicating the number of turns present in the given solenoid per unit length. Therefore, the required equation is given by B is equal to mu naught. So here small n can be defined as capital N by L. Small n is equal to what? Capital N by L. So the final required equation is the magnetic field intensity inside the solenoid is given by B is equal to mu naught Ni. So this is a required expression for the magnetic field intensity of the given solenoid. See, the next topic is about a toroid. So how can we define a toroid? Means if you take a very long solenoid. So what is meant by very long solenoid? Means the length of the solenoid is a very large when compared with its radius. Such type of solenoid we are saying is a what? Long solenoid. If you take a long solenoid, if that long solenoid will be bent in the form of a circle, such type of arrangement we are calling as a what? Toroid, which is also similar to the solenoid. Here also what we are going to calculate? The magnetic field intensity which is produced by the toroid. So what we are saying here, the toroid is nothing but a long solenoid which was bent in the form of a circle. See, if it is a solenoid, long solenoid, so for the long solenoid, what we discussed previously, at the outside point as well as at the inside point, the magnetic field intensity is equal to 0. That was we explained previously. If you take the longest solenoid, so at the top region of the solenoid as well as at the bottom region of the solenoid, magnetic field will be 0. Where the magnetic field was present? The magnetic field is present just inside the solenoid only. Just inside the solenoid only. Now, if you bend this solenoid, into the circular shape, so outside the toroid, magnetic field intensity is equal to 0. Similarly, inside the toroid also, the magnetic field intensity is equal to 0. This point we have to understood. Once again, toroid is nothing but a solenoid which is bent in the form of a circle. So I took a long solenoid. For the longest solenoid, I know what? Outside region magnetic field intensity is equal to 0. Inside region also magnetic field intensity is equal to 0. If this solenoid is bent in the form of the circle, outside the toroid, when you bend in the form of the circle, we are calling it as a what? Toroid. Outside the toroid, magnetic field intensity is 0, as well as inside the toroid also, magnetic field intensity is equal to 0. Where the magnetic field will be present? In this region only the magnetic field will be present. If you consider one point R which is outside of the toroid, there the magnetic field intensity is equal to 0. If you consider the point Q which is present inside the solenoid or toroid, there also the magnetic field will be is equal to 0. Where the magnetic field was present means in the interior of the toroid only the magnetic field was present. That point we have to understood. If at the interior region of the toroid, if a magnetic field will be present, how can we calculate the magnetic field intensity in the interior region of the toroid? So for this also we have to follow Ampere's circuital law. What is the Ampere's circuital law? Line integral of b bar dot dl bar is equal to mu naught into I net. So to apply the Ampere's circuital law, you must need a closed loop. So I want to calculate at the point P the resultant magnetic field which is produced by the toroid. So that I have to imagine a closed loop. Which is passing through the point P. So what we have to imagine? We have to imagine a closed loop. Which is passing through the point P, where you are going to calculate the resultant magnetic field. Now, this dotted region is indicating what? Closed loop. So, to apply the Ampere's circuital law, you have to know the two values. Left side value you have to know, as well as the right side value you have to know. Here, at the right side value, mu naught into I net we told. Already previously we explained. Here it is consisting of how many number of loops? N number of loops are there. How many number of loops are there? N number of loops are there. Through each and every turn, how much current will be flowing? I amount of current will be flowing, so that the right side term value is equal to what? Mu naught into Ni. Now, at the point P, if you consider the small element, at the same point, if you draw the tangent, if you draw the tangent, that a tangent will be giving the direction of the magnetic field, at that given respective point P. So at any point on the circular loop, dl bar comma b bar will be acting along the same direction. At any point on the circular loop, b bar comma dl bar will be acting along the same direction. So that line integral of b bar dot dl bar value is equal to b dl cos theta, right side value is equal to what? Mu naught into n into I. At each and every point the magnetic field intensity will be remain same, because we are told all are the identical loops. So b value will be remains constant, and integral dl theta value is equal to 0, that is the cos 0. So the right side value is equal to what? Mu naught into n into I. So here b into integral dl value is equal to what? 2 pi r. dl is a small length, so integral dl means what? Circumference of the closed path, because it is in the form of the circle. If its radius will be is equal to small r, integral dl value is equal to what? 2 pi r, and the right side value will be remain same, mu naught into n into I. So I want to calculate the b value only. B is equal to mu naught into n by 2 pi r into I. So what is the 2 pi r here? The circumference of the toroid, or we will call it is length of the toroid. So if the length of the toroid L is equal to 2 pi r, this equation becomes B is equal to mu naught into n by L into I. Mu naught into what? N by L into I, where capital N is indicating what? Total number of turns. L is indicating what? Length of the toroid. So already we define small n is equal to what? N by L. Small n is indicating what? Number of turns present per unit length. So that the magnetic field intensity will be given by B is equal to mu naught into n into I. B is equal to what? Mu naught into n into I. This is the final expression for the magnetic field intensity, which is produced by the toroid. So this is the concept of solenoid as well as toroid. Thank you.